For John here. I saw the Batman a couple of days ago, and I just wanted some time to process it. It tried to throw a lot at us. I'm gonna go ahead and do a review and a recap. It's April 20th, so I don't know if you guys are partaking in any festivities, but celebrate wisely. I've decided that this is a good day to sort of go forth and try and give my thoughts on the Batman, give my thoughts on what DC was trying to do, give a quick synopsis, a bit of a recap, you know. There will be spoilers, obviously, but I figure I'm calm, I'm relaxed. I might not be all mentally there, but hey, that comes with the territory of April 20th, you know. But I do believe that it's a day to review the Batman and give my thoughts. So here's the recap. Spoilers. Log off now if you don't want to hear it. Okay. Battinson, Robert Battinson, we have him. We have the bat of after all this wait, all the trailers. The trailers looked amazing. Now we have the Vampire Diaries, Twilight. We have Twilight taking on the mantle of the bat. So poetic. Here we are. You know, a big mantle to fulfill. Christian Bale was the last real bat. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not Christian Bale. What was that guy's name? Loki, I already want to forget about him. Let's not even talk about that. Zack Snyder cut. Let's just forget. Let's just start over, okay? And that's what this Batman is trying to do. It starts in year two. You can already tell that the presence of the Batman has been felt throughout the city, and they want us to know that. The shadows are freaking out criminals. You have cops hovering over in helicopters for some reason, not arresting criminals in the beginning. But it's a very good beginning. It's a good start. You have the Riddler checking out the mayor, the current mayor, before he assassinates him. The current mayor's playing with his kid before his kid goes out for Halloween. It's a good little theme to the the Bruce Wayne's parents' murders. Thomas and Martha. And you have the Riddler killing the mayor in a very brutal way with a carpenting tool. Um, and then you have him you switch to the Batman's monologue, and he's talking about the city and the criminals within it, and you have different groups of criminals doing different things. But also stating he can't be everywhere. I'm like, yeah, he can't be. He's one man, but states how the fear keeps them at bay. The shadows keep them at bay. He can't be everywhere, but the shadows can. So he's basically the shadows. Good. All right, movie. I like this entrance. All right, and then you have a group of thugs jumping this one dude at a train station, and you have the introduction of the bat come stomping in there. Stomping. He's stomping so hard that everybody looks around to figure out what the heck's going on. And I guess maybe that's sort of his calling card because another dude immediately takes out a knife as if he already knows what the stomping is, and he comes in there not really stealth, just sort of walks into the scene. Kind of a theme through this movie. Batman just sort of walks into the room, which is okay. But he walks in there, tells the thugs, "Hey, you're not knocking out this innocent citizen." He doesn't say that, but in his silence, you can tell that hey, this isn't going down. Thugs attack him. You see what happens in the trailer. Knocks him out. Says that he's vengeance, and this huge fight ensues. Guns get pulled. He's bulletproof. That's showcased. Thugs get defeated. They run away, but you can tell even the citizens afraid of the bat, which is so cool. This is such a good opening. And then you have the next scene. You have the Batman being introduced by Officer Gordon, to a crime scene. And I love the whole buddy cop Officer Gordon Batman theme that they have going on here. Really touched on how Batman and Officer Gordon are pals in the comics and in the animated series and all sorts of media. Love the casting for Officer Gordon. What really well done. I don't like how Officer Gordon was the excuse for how Batman got to be on so many crime scenes. But at the beginning of the movie, you can see that the Riddler, the one that murdered Mayor Mitchell, is trying to get Batman's attention, and he's doing that by leaving notes with more Riddlers on him. The first Riddler was, what do you get when a liar dies? Or what something like that. What happens when a liar is murdered or something? And then Batman chimes in, he lies still. which is really dope. And I'm like, it's gonna be cerebral. I can't wait. Let's get this rolling. And then you're led on this wild goose chase, and we're introduced to what I believe should have been the main character in the Penguin. The Penguin is so well done, such a good casting, actually intimidating. You know what I mean? If the Joker didn't exist, the Penguin would be Batman's arch rival. I really don't understand why more movies don't harp on the gang violence in Gotham City. That is a big thing. Not everything has to be Avengers levels threat, as you will come to see. The plot moves along here. You have Batman chasing various people due to Riddler's clues. You have a huge highway scene chase with a crowded ass highway with all sorts of civilians on the highway, and you cannot look me in the face and tell me people did not die in that chase scene. There was a huge explosion, multiple deaths, minimum three. You know what I mean? And you have Batman chasing the Penguin because the Riddler's leaving clues about a rat, you know, a rat in the underworld. You have Batman and Selena Kyle, Catwoman teaming up because I guess Falcone took Selena Kyle's friend, and Selena and Catwoman is trying to figure out where she is, and you later learn that Selena Kyle is Falcone's daughter, which is an exact rip from I believe it was the Long Halloween. You know, you can tell that this movie was trying to take aspects of animated media and other media and plug it directly into the movie. It's almost like the animated media was a test pilot for this movie. That's the essence that I got, you know, because a lot of these things I'd watched in Hush and the Long Halloween. Any Batman fan could tell you, like I've already seen this before. Any real Batman fan had a sense of deja vu watching this. Um, so you get a Batman chasing all these criminals for various reasons. You learn more backstory as the Riddler keeps killing politicians due to their corrupt background, and you also find out that Thomas Wayne had a corrupt background. He worked with Falcone to silence a reporter that wanted to release media on Martha Wayne and her psychosis. She was admitted into the Arkham Hospital, but Thomas Wayne had him killed just because he was running for a mayor of Gotham as well. But Thomas Wayne wanted to go to the police and confess, so it's a possibility that Falcone had Thomas Wayne killed, Falcone wouldn't be indicted on his on murder charges of the reporter, you know. But it's only hinted on. It's only hinted on through Alfred. Alfred is also there. This movie tries to do something different by implying Batman and Alfred, Bruce Wayne and Alfred don't have a good relationship. It's almost like Alfred was sort of put in there to be a not a dad figure for Bruce Wayne to say you're not my father, you know. But you can definitely tell that by the end of the movie, they're obviously going to harp on Alfred and Bruce Wayne being close, and that Riddler almost kills Alfred trying to attack Bruce Wayne. You know, one of Riddler's victims or what targets on his hit list was Bruce Wayne because he didn't like Bruce Wayne was an orphan with $1 billion or something. You know, as I guess the Riddler grew up poor, so we're trying to learn his motivations. I guess the Riddler is trying to uncover corruption, but it sort of seems kind of random because you find out that like after he ends up killing Falcone after Selena Kyle tries to go kill him. Catwoman tries to go kill Falcone because she finds out that Falcone kills her friend. There's a lot going on here. It tries to do a lot. It tries to introduce a universe, and you can definitely tell they're trying to build a universe, and I wish they would stop doing that and just focus on making a good movie and then see what happens afterwards. But Selena Kyle's like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill my father. Yeah, I don't know if I've already said that. Falcone, so Catwoman reveals that Selena Kyle is her daughter, and it's already a rip of the animated series. And he goes to try to kill her for killing. She goes to try to kill Falcone for killing her friend. Batman saves her as she fails because she like announces her murder plot to Falcone instead of just actually killing him. She pulls a typical villain move. It was so. Anyways, Batman saves her. Falcone gets arrested because the voice message of the friend was leaked to the media by by Catwoman or the Riddler or whatever. So he gets arrested, and as Falcone is escorted out, Riddler shoots Falcone because Falcone is the rat, and you had a huge interaction before with the Penguin and Falcone, and I thought it was about to go down, but then the Penguin was so well casted. I cannot say that enough. Penguin stole the show. He was my favorite character. It should have been Batman versus the Penguin. Simple, the Riddler shoots Falcone from an apartment building he purchased from Falcone's headquarters. So I guess Riddler's been hiding out there the whole time, and that was so that the Batman could be led to the apartment building to find more clues, because Riddler's about the clues. But I guess the Riddler decides to get caught on purpose. He goes to a cafe and allows himself to be arrested as a part of his grand plan. Uh, it's hinted on that the Riddler knows Batman's identity, but he keeps saying Bruce Wayne, but then you just find out he's just jealous of Bruce Wayne's upbringing, because he was a billionaire, but you find out that the Riddler wanted to be arrested because his plan, the Arkham was the safest place for his plan or something. I don't he wanted to be arrested, and he harped on that. He said, "Hey, he thought that him and Batman were a team. Riddler thought that him and Batman were a team, and that everything he was doing was to clear the corrupt politicians. He doesn't know that Bruce Wayne is Batman." Um, and he's like, we're working together, and Batman's like, "You're crazy. This was none of my plot." He was like, "What do you mean?" And then that's when Riddler reveals his Avengers level threat. Just I wish this movie stayed grounded. A grounded Batman movie would have been great. But here's Riddler's plot. Okay, after systematically killing diplomat or politicians, making them expose themselves of their corruption, his plot was to park 7 vans around the Gotham Harbor, blow them up, create a huge flood that would move the convention, the inaugural process for the new mayor. It was happening at the exact time of the explosion. So it would flood out that inaugural celebration and move it to a convention center, and everybody, most of the town would have to be moved to the convention center because they would be there. And then the objective was he had help from people around the internet that felt the same way he did, maybe other orphans. And then those people that were just now being introduced to were in the rafters of the convention, and they all had bullets, and their goal was to shoot everybody in the convention center, including the new mayor, who hadn't done anything corrupt yet, I believe. This is the Riddler's big plan, to flood the city, to force important people into a convention center so that he could shoot them. And I like, okay, I'm not like, and there was like 15 of these dudes in the rafters. I'm saying, like, you definitely had a lot of C4. You just blew up 7 vans that caused the flood. Why not just use that same resource in the convention center? Why not just blow the convention center up instead of shooting people one by one? And then I guess the producers just wanted this big shootout scene between the cops and Batman and the Riddler's henchmen. Batman gets there, saves the new mayor. Selena Kyle saves Batman, and then the Riddler's henchman is like, "We're vengeance." So you have that theme that the Riddler thought they were working together. Um, and then like the place is being flooded, and I was like, okay, cool, the flood will kill everybody. No, it was only about like a waist high. Uh, this this was the Riddler's plot. This was the plot. This was his final plot, and you can tell they wanted to make it some big dramatic thing. Batman goes down and saves the people, leads them with a red torch out, because the electricity's gone out, leads them with a flare, and it's all symbolic because Batman's leading the people out to, I don't know where Batman's leading them to, because the rest of the city is flooded, but you haven't stopped there because he's just walking out, and yeah, that's the premise. That's pretty much the whole plot. You get Selena Kyle and Catwoman and the Batman. The relationship is bloomed. They're flirting with each other. They separate, and you could tell it was a tough decision. But Batman chooses Gotham, and Selena Kyle chooses to get out of there with the money he stole from her father Falcone. And So you see that ending, and yeah, that's pretty much. Okay, okay. So I could have swallowed it. I guess I could have swallowed it. Um, if it just ended there, if it just ended there, I'm like, okay, maybe the second one, the sequel, will be better. Just like the Arkham, Batman Rises or Begins or Returns. I mean, Batman Returns. I'm sorry, the one with Heath Ledger. Maybe the second one be good, and then they introduce the Joker. They have him locked up next to the Riddler in talking distance, because that's probably a good idea at a psych ward, you know. And which is, I get it, they're criminals, but and then you have the Riddler try talking to the Joker, and the Riddler's obviously crazy, he's screaming and stuff, and the Joker's trying to be the calm one, and it's because that they introduced the Joker that I could tell this whole movie was trying to just set up a universe. Everybody's still chasing the Marvel dream, the Disney dream of setting up a universe that makes $1 billion pretty much every single movie, except for the Eternals and the last ones. We won't talk about that just yet, but and you can tell that that was pretty much its whole premise, to introduce a fourth Joker in what, in 7 years? I don't even know how many years. But like it's just like, man, give us a break. They're just throwing so many Jokers now. It's hard to get involved in one. That last seat alone disappointed me, because that told me that was their main goal. Money is the main goal. If you haven't realized by now, that's why they're test piloting all these plots in animated adaptions, trying to see what the audience is like. It was almost formulaic. This movie was almost like a formula. They tried they got all these check boxes. They hit these check boxes on what was really well received in other versions, other adapted versions of Batman, like The Long Halloween and Hush and The Bat and the Cat. You know what I mean? They try to take the good parts of that as almost like a test run on an audience, and then they just took all the good parts and made a live action of that adaptation and thought we just sort of eat it up. It's I don't know. Maybe some people liked it. The Batmobile was pretty cool. The chase scene was pretty cool. I liked the commissioners, the relationship between Jim Gordon and the commissioner. I don't like how it was he wasn't even the commissioner at the time. Jim Officer Gordon just kept vouching for the Batman and all these crime scenes, and the officers just let the Batman just keep doing these things. It was just sort of implied, and the Batman just kept stomping onto scenes. He just kept marching onto scenes with his heavy ass boots. Everybody always heard him coming, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. An intimidation factor, but it didn't really show any of the stealth. And it is year two, give him some time, I guess. But it definitely, if as much influence as he's shown, I feel like maybe he'd have a better approach. Like, how is he the shadows? Is it because he just stomps out of the shadows? Is it that it? Maybe I'm just being too critical. He's had awesome training. I thought the part where he was about to fight a room full of officers was pretty interesting. He doesn't give a damn. He did the damn thing. The grappling hook physics was pretty cool. The tech was pretty cool. It showed Batman using glider physics and stuff, glider technology. The Batmobile, I can't harp on that enough. The computer analysis, the camera lenses in his eyes, all of that was awesome. So there are some good points. It's just you can definitely tell. The more I think about it, the more disappointed in what it was trying to do. It was definitely trying to live up to the hype, but I think if it took a more grounded approach, maybe just focused on the Penguin, which was an awesome casting, not try to explain too much, maybe just show the operations of the Batman taking down a everyday gang. The like taking down Penguin's gang. Like, gangs are a huge thing. Show his influence. Show how he's building this influence. Not just sort of make us assume. You could definitely tell that they were trying to show Batman's motivation with his connection with the late mayor's kid and stuff, which is cool, but the emotional engagement just wasn't there. It just sort of seemed pretty face value. It seemed pretty bland. Robert Pattinson to do the best Batman, and Batman's not an emotional character. So what else could he really do? But I wasn't in any way sort of astonished or saw it as a transformation in the development of the Batman lineage of actors and portrayals of Batman. So that's just my thoughts. I wish they dumbed it down a bit, took out the Riddler, took out Catwoman, just showed showed Batman versus the Penguin. That would have been awesome. The Penguin was actually intimidating. They definitely got to address the the death ratio in this universe, because there's definitely some civilians that were murdered. But hey, I guess the police were already corrupt. But that's my take on it. I didn't want to make this too long, but it was a 3-hour movie, so they tried to do too much. They honestly tried to do too much. If they had another reboot, if this was just a standalone movie, I'd be okay with it. If they had a new reboot, maybe a new art direction, maybe you tried not to treat its audience like we're idiots and haven't seen this media before. The Falcone Selena Kyle daughter reveal wasn't anything cool. You know what I mean? A lot of these scenes were just ripped from animated series and animated media adaptation. So please try to do better, DC. Stop trying to think about the move. Stop trying to think about the moolah, the money. You know, you can tell with when Iron Man came out, they were trying to make a good movie, not necessarily trying to build a universe. Yeah, they had some clips at the end, but start with the good movie. Don't worry about the universe. The universe will make itself. Stop trying to introduce all these people. The Riddler was a little too maniacal. It was just maybe superhero movies are going the way of the cowboy western. Maybe we're just overwhelmed by superhero movies that it's just hard to unimpress us. Maybe that's another thing. But I say take a more grounded approach next time if we're still in the the Battison phase. Take a more grounded approach. Don't overwhelm us. Stop with these Avengers level threats. Stop trying to destroy the city. Just make a good Batman movie. Show us who he is. That's what I think, anyways. But anyways, that was my review, recap, and reaction to the Batman. Tell me what you think. Maybe my opinion is skewed and biased just because I'm a huge Batman fan. But hopefully you enjoyed this recap. And this is for John. Until next time, stay up.